Okay. Hello guys, welcome to my regular Wednesday night live stream. Today I have a special guest and she happens to be sitting right next to me. Ooh. Hang on a second. Hang on. There we go.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
so today we happen to have a very special guest, Tammy Candy.
Hi.
So, the reason I thought Tammy would be interesting to have on the channel is because she has had a bit of a history with the tabloids, something that I'm only starting to deal with. We both happen to be in the same alt media space, or at least coming soon. We'll talk about that as well. We're both in the political realm, and we're both women, because you can be an anti-feminist and still be for women.
Exactly. That's so true that a lot of people don't understand.
A lot of people are not understanding that. Okay, so Tammy, how are you?
Yes, good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, that's right. This is a bit different for me, actually. I like it.
Let me just put the cushions there. Okay, cool. All right, Tammy.
Excellent. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You are a known libertarian.
Yes.
Why libertarianism? Let's start with that.
Somewhat known. We'll see about that.
You're known. You're definitely far. We'll talk about the tabloids in a second. But you are.
Yes. So I'm. Yeah, I'd say you'd call me a. I would like to think I'm a fairly Puritist libertarian.
Okay. So, and what does that mean exactly?
Yeah. So I believe in limiting government, property rights, freedom of speech and expression, etc. So yeah.
And I actually believe in all those things. So
yes,
that's
you
why
do. Yes.
I think I'm a soft libertarian.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll give it time.
We'll give it time. That's exactly what Dean says.
Yes.
Okay. And so it wasn't too long ago that you were embroiled in a little bit of a tabloid scandal.
Yeah.
And you were also in photos with I got a message the other day from a follower on Instagram, and he said, I think it's hilarious that lefties were so triggered by the selfie between yourself and Tony Abbott.
Oh yeah. That one. I forgot that I even had that picture.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even. It was just something from my time as a staffer back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
so
I didn't really.
You being a staffer back in the day is what led you to your liberal scandal. So do you want to?
Yeah, I wasn't a career staffer. I'd float in and out of it, and I think that they used that as an angle to jump on the scandal of someone who's maybe doesn't necessarily look like a traditional conservative, a traditional member of the Liberal Party.
I just got to say, by looking at you right now, you don't look like a
conservative. Out.
Damn, woman. Damn. But
I love that.
So you were caught up in this unnecessary staffer scandal.
Yes.
What happened, and why was there even a scandal?
Oh, it just comes down to it was a couple of years ago. Yeah. And I think every now and then, I think so. Yeah, every now and then something will come up, and it's just something that if I'm true to myself, I have to be aware and prepared for, because people might think that if you've got blonde hair and you've got big boobs that you might not necessarily be cerebral. So
yeah, there's no cerebral. The neurons aren't working.
That's right. Well, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, as you know.
Oh, I know that very well. I say a lot of stupid things and I say a lot of profound things. Probably more stupid than profound.
And that's the thing. So yeah, sometimes I find it funny. I play up on it. I'm a little bit of a troll.
Oh yeah, no, I know. It's like, tell us a little bit about your education background, because I think people saying what you said, that the neurons and people don't look at me and think intelligent, but you have quite a very good academic history, which I think would surprise a lot of people. I was definitely pleasantly stunned, but like not surprised, because I think I aspire to have what you have in terms of academics. So.
Yeah, and good on you for studying.
I
think that's really
political
good.
science.
Yes, good on you.
Hopefully
that's
I
awesome.
can. Yes. And hopefully I can move that. I'm thinking international relations is
That's
sort
a
of
good
what I'm
course.
thinking.
That'd be a good one.
Thank you.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's never too late to get an education. So that's
right.
That's a good message.
You're still young.
I'm still young.
Stop it.
Stop it. All right. So tell us what you started off in and what you're currently studying. So you've got a lot under your belt. Go ahead. Tell everyone.
Thank you. I started out completing my bachelor's in journalism, majoring in political science. I did a journalism cadetship. I did my honours in
she did her honours in political documentary, also doing political science.
Yeah, good on
you. We're tied on that.
Yes.
Yeah, continue.
I started I was lucky enough to get a scholarship, and I started my PhD. And
scholarship. She's a brain.
And that started my journey into academia, and I taught politics at the university, and but I'm upset.
I hate women like you. No, keep going.
Give it a couple of years, you'll be doing the same thing. You're teaching everybody on YouTube. This is what I think.
I'm learning as I go. That's the thing. And now I realize that yes, I believe in being self-taught. I don't look down on people who know things just because they read books or whatever. But at the same time, I think it's important to sort of have a little bit more of a foundation and more of a structured knowledge. And I think it's good to have the ability to critically think, which I have, but to have the tools to sort of be able to go, oh, that's slander, that's this, that's that, like, and know what the words are for it.
That's so true. That's so true.
So really that's good. Thanks. That's the only reason I feel like pursuing the political science, and then also the international relations.
Yes.
But because I'm interested in it now. I'm doing it as on YouTube, but then whilst I've been learning, I thought, well, why don't I also take it on board and actually further my own knowledge?
Absolutely.
And so you got a scholarship in philosophy?
Technically it was called the Doctor of Philosophy in Government.
Okay. So still political realm.
Yeah, definitely. PhD. So majoring in political communication. So yes. So that is the background with that. But you're teaching me how to use YouTube and to speak to Get me into that.
Yeah, well, guys, coming soon, Tammy will have her own YouTube channel, and if YouTube ends up like silencing us, we're obviously going to move on to another platform.
Yes, I want to know more about that. I want to learn about that.
I will help you.
Really cool.
Yeah.
We can get our bitcoins into it and stuff.
Yes, I'm happy to do that. And just to comment on the chat, Margaret, it's never too late to go back to school, because she's also doing the same thing. And thank you, Margaret, for moderating the chat again.
Yes.
Seems the chat is pretty safe today, thankfully.
Oh, excellent. Nice and positive. That's excellent. That's great. You should see my DMs. They're not always positive.
Oh, I know.
Well, they're definitely something.
Let's talk a little bit about why you chose to step into the political realm, because people like I myself was never interested in politics, never had been up until 4 years ago, and it just became a passion project for me, and then it became YouTube for me, and then it just became it lined up with my faith, and I realized some people don't agree, but faith and my politics just to align.
Yeah.
But for you, it's a bit different. So tell us your story from how you began. Why did you step into that world when you could have been like a porn star?
I know, politics or porn is so difficult to choose. Tough decision, actually.
Well, either way, you're doing well. Oh, that was so mean. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I love Pornhub. So what was the question? Sorry.
Why politics? What even got you interested in that? Because I've only figured it out really late. You've obviously known for a long time, because did you do it straight out of high school? Did you do a gap year? What happened?
Good question, actually. I started out, don't judge me, but I actually wanted to be a sports journalist.
Oh, no judgment at all.
Yes,
that's cool. Again, I'm not a feminist, but I still think it's good for women to, if they choose to be in an industry that is dominated by men, I think that's pretty awesome. And that's cool. And so what happened with that?
So I wanted to, I was really into rugby league, and big Roosters supporter, and yes, and
I'm so not in. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You're in Melbourne.
Yeah, true.
So I wanted to do that, and when I started university, my lecturer said to me, "Oh, really? You should be majoring in politics or law." And she said, "Oh, go with politics. It's more fun."
And you agreed, obviously.
I just agreed. I did it the first week, and I signed up to a major in political science, and I started really liking the classes. I was like, this is better than journalism. I love this. And that's how it started, the passion. And
that's really exciting. So you had something in mind, but then someone just sort of advised you and you went with it, and it actually worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Well,
that's really
hopefully it worked out.
Well,
to some degree.
It has. Yes. Like, you've done extremely well for yourself. I'm very proud of what you've accomplished.
Thank you.
No, that's okay. So you majored in political science and you minored in journalism? Or the other way around?
Other way around, yes. I did a journalism degree. They call it a major when you study a subject alongside your degree, and I majored in political science. So, yeah.
So how does in terms of how it works, is it like, this is me being silly, but is it like 1.5 years, literally half the time focused on journalism and then the other half focused on, is that how it is?
Yeah, so not quite. So it was first degree was a 3-year degree, and during that time I would have 4 units in journalism. I might have 2 units in political science, that kind of thing. So you sort of space it out.
Yeah.
And I majored in television, so I was a typical broadcast bimbo.
Of course.
Yes.
See, I would put you as the weather girl. No. I'm just kidding. I mean, not that there's nothing wrong with her, but like brains that you have, So you definitely play up the blonde bimbo.
Oh, I love to troll. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Paris Hilton in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
that's my vibe.
That's hot. I thought your vibe was Anna Nicole.
Oh,
Smith.
Anna Nicole. I can't decide. I love Anna Nicole.
If I had to choose between the two, I'd go Anna Nicole.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't hate Paris. I used to. I just used to hate her.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's so annoying.
I
like her now. When I found out she voted for Trump, my respect for her went whoop. I'm like, I no longer hated her. I was like, yeah, I gotta stop being a hater. And like Kim Kardashian wants to be a lawyer. I'm like, that's so good. I love it when women go back to education. Like, she's glamorous, she's beautiful, but she wants to be educated. I love that.
Yeah. I don't understand why people hate her so much. Like,
I
don't get it.
Like the Kardashians. I'm one of the few. Yeah, I interviewed a very well-known conservative. She goes to a lot of the CPAC events in America.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of Antonia Okafor.
Oh.
She's African American.
Okay.
She's most known at the moment because she went head-to-head Morgan.
Oh, right.
His morning show, and she was talking about how she's pro-guns. He's obviously not. Yeah. And anyway, so I had her on my channel, and she basically said to me in my interview, you can catch it on. It's on in one of my playlists on my channel.
Yes.
Yeah, she said that she hates that people get into like the Kardashians when she finds them so exhausting. And then I sort of corrected her very respectfully, and I said, I'm one of those people that likes her. She goes, oh, I said, but her point was that there's so much going on in the world that we need to be more informed.
We're focusing on stupid things.
Yeah, but I said to her, but we need a distraction. Sometimes you need the silly reality television show distraction. And then she actually agreed with me.
That's actually so true.
I think it's
exhausting, isn't it?
Is.
Sometimes when you see the things on the news.
Exactly.
Like,
that's my next question.
Yes.
Does it exhaust you as much as you love it, as much as I'm loving it right now? It can be exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I think every every election cycle, I get the election fatigue.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everybody does,
but
even when you're in the political realm.
Well, you're in the political realm, but you're in it in the context of you manage campaigns.
That's right. Yes.
So it would be exhausting.
Absolutely. I won't name names, but
don't name names. But like, no.
But I do that.
Yeah.
But I definitely do that, and it can be exhausting after elections, and but it only lasts about a week, and then I'm back into it.
That's
crazy.
Tragic. Yeah. So I find it exhausting just from the perspective of all the news that I read.
Yeah.
All the haters that I get.
Oh yeah. How do you deal with that?
With haters?
Yeah, can you elaborate on sort of what you receive and how you react to it?
Just people, well, one woman, her name was Jody, wrote that she felt like I should have, I won't say her last name or anything like that.
Calm down, Jody.
She said that she wished that my parents had aborted me.
Oh.
So things to that extent, I find that's basically a death threat without it being we're coming after you kind of thing.
That's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I've made mistakes, obviously, and I've associated with people who others deem to be, you know, completely evil, even though they've never met them to make that judgment on their own.
Yeah.
Yes, their behaviors have been questionable, and okay, that's granted. But why don't people look at the fact that I give people a chance? You know,
that's very true.
And then the hate that I get from the mistakes that I've made is like tribalism and coming after someone who a third party, like my boss. So like hate to that level, I don't understand because I wouldn't do that to them.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. So how do I deal with it? I just have a lot of people who are praying for me, who, you know, hoping that I'm always safe, of course.
Yes.
Okay, so this now leads back to you. You have yourself dealt with a lot of tabloid fodder. I'm sort of been a little 3 articles, so I haven't, not 4 at the most.
Yeah.
You were on news.com.au, you were on Daily Mail, you were on the Daily Telegraph. You've been on every single well-known tabloid, leftist tabloid, really.
And the right, yeah.
And the right. So how did you deal with that? Because you've copped a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And by virtue of just how you look, and just by how you play up the dumb blonde, you would have gotten a lot of hate. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's interesting because from what I've seen from yours, you will mainly get sort of that kind of negative reaction from one side. So there's mostly be the leftists that will have a go at you.
Yes.
What I receive is a little bit from both. So, which makes it interesting. So it's not just...
I get it from the far right.
Oh, you get it from the far right.
Because they don't understand why I'm pro-Israel, for example.
Yes.
But I think their hate is not necessarily hate, but it's like aggressive education.
Right.
So you're genuinely getting hate on both sides.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Which, you know, I've got pretty thick skin. I think you have to be in politics.
I've developed a thick skin. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's it. And
it's getting thicker too.
That's right. And sometimes I think, just, you know, they must be having a bad day.
Just pray for them and love them.
That's right. Because really, I can't be bothered. Who can be bothered? That's one thing. Who can be bothered to...
But they can.
Yes.
They can be bothered. Why? Like, what have we really done? Nothing.
I think a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands.
Get an education like what we're doing.
Yes. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately too. I would be too busy to do that.
I know. You've been too busy for me.
Sorry. I just slotted you in. That's all good.
It's all good. It's all
Thanks
good.
for being patient with me.
No, it's all good. Let's just see if there's any comments to read. Oh, hi, Dean. Just tuned in. Had a full restaurant to babysit. Hi,
Dean. We love you,
Dean. Dean. Okay, Dean. Who is your favorite, Tammy or me? I'm just kidding.
He's going to say you.
That's funny. All right, let's have a look if there are any questions.
Is Will Joseph on?
I don't know. Did you tell him?
No.
Oh, well, then probably not. A white woman's highest ambition should be to find a good man and have children. What do you think about that?
Oh.
He's referring to you because I ain't white.
Why just one? No, I'm kidding.
Is it true they film porno movies at the Fire Drum Hotel, at the Fire Drum restaurant? I was reading their reviews.
Oh.
Okay, so that's something new. On Friday, we're doing an event at the Mittagong Hotel, and apparently they're saying...
Someone's given them a review saying that?
A fake review. It's no, a lucky day, it's not true that they film pornos there.
Oh.
And if it is,
make it more
then...
exciting.
If it is, they should have let you know. Oh, that's so funny. I'm sorry.
I love how you just slut shame me.
Well, it's because we're friends. It's okay. I wouldn't do it.
I slut shame myself.
I wouldn't do it to anyone. Okay. Tell us about the night, dear. I want to. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Someone's telling me that they're not a serial killer. I haven't heard of Tammy until Dia did stuff with her, but I'm totally behind her.
Oh,
that's
thank
Kenji.
you. Kenji. Oh,
Kenji.
hey, Kenji.
He's actually a very well known.
I don't know why I waved at the phone, but okay.
Wave here.
Hi.
Kenji is a photographer / video maker.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll borrow
fantastic.
him one day. We'll make a documentary together on something.
Yes.
I'll be the next Australian Lauren Southern.
Oh yeah, well,
Except that I won't.
You
No.
won't
I'm a
bang for content.
I'm a pure.
Sorry, Lauren.
I'm a pure conservative.
That's true.
I won't. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. PPM lost, by the way. Who's PPM? Political
know.
posting mama. Oh.
Yeah.
What
She actually. I knew the girl that she went against, Adele Maletta. She went against her. I don't know. There was some defamation thing, I think. I actually went to university with that girl. Yeah, she was very nice at uni, the
sure.
left-wing chick. But, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know the details of the case at all, but...
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's nothing particularly fascinating in the chat. So let's continue on with your education. So you do know Tony Abbott? Are you friends, or is it more just?
Oh no, just through work. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay,
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say his.
No, so you've never had coffee with him and his family. You've never seen him in his budgie smugglers.
We've all seen him in his budgie smugglers.
True, but I meant were you with his wife and children one day having lunch with him?
And he just
did you
waltzed out?
He just waltzed out, because of the circles that you run in.
What are you two doing?
What are you two doing? Are we allowed to talk about your current work or not? Is that best not to discuss?
Oh, we might. You know what we should do? We should keep that under wraps and then reveal. Yeah.
Okay. No worries. Okay, all right.
A little bit of a surprise coming up for you guys.
Ooh, okay.
That's right.
So what are your views, generally speaking, on conservative issues like abortion?
Oh, I'm definitely pro-life. Yes.
Why? Just so the people watching, particularly Margaret, who seems to judge people based just on that stance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Someone could be a really horrible person but still be pro-life, and she'd be like, "Oh, he's pro-life."
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sometimes like that too.
Yeah, I can be that way too.
The pro-life people tend to be like that because it's not for a religious reason at all. It's because I believe that life is the ultimate liberty. It's the ultimate form of liberty, and I think shouldn't be up to the state or mother or father or anyone to terminate that separate piece of DNA, that separate life.
What about those who argue it's just a clump of cells, it's a parasite sucking away the mother's life? Get rid of it.
Well, it's a separate life. I've never called somebody else a parasite, so I don't think
there are some out there.
Actually, yeah, there are some parasites. We were just talking about that before, actually.
Fair enough.
Meow.
And so, what about the argument that the libertarian view the libertarian view isn't actually the libertarian view cannot advocate being pro-life because the libertarian attitude means that but that you do you and I'll do me. So as long as what you do doesn't infringe on my rights, you can do what you want to do. So
Absolutely,
then under that argument, being pro-choice almost works. So how do you talk?
I think it works both ways.
It does.
Yeah,
but I just thought
essentially, mine will always fall back on the argument that it's a separate entity.
And I agree. I'm pro-life in case people who don't come on my channel
they think that you're advocating against. No, but I do think that I think they have a valid point with their property rights and evictionism, etc.
Sure.
But unfortunately, it is a separate. Well, not unfortunately. It is a separate.
Pro babies.
Yeah, it's pro baby. It's a separate set of DNA. So it's just you can't.
You're infringing on the liberty of that baby.
Yes.
So that's
absolutely
So that's where the libertarian argument works.
Exactly. Life or death is pretty definite. So to take someone else's life away,
okay,
I just don't think it marries well with libertarianism.
No, that's fair. That's a fair point. And what about the very similar perspective where recently Margaret, who is in the chat, who is one of my moderators,
Yes.
and the Unshackled, they went to a vigil for I think it was euthanasia in Melbourne. That happened, I think, on Tuesday, and the video is already up. What is your view on that? I know that, again, libertarians are split on this issue. What is your personal...
This is more of an issue in Australia than it is in the US.
Mhm.
I definitely think that the libertarian movement here is more focused on euthanasia and assisted dying, which is a left-wing term that I don't usually like to use anyway.
I feel like I want to assist... someone needs to assist me in dying, so I'm just going to step in front of a train.
Yeah,
like that's how stupid it sounds to me.
It's suicide, and using the correct terminology. I think when we use passive terminology, it takes away from the gravity of what the issue actually is. And unfortunately, when you are policy making, usually you have to look at the benefit and does it outweigh the risk. And I think that the risk with euthanasia is that it could be corrupted, and quite easily as well. And it will corrupt the liberties of those in society who are most vulnerable. So I'm worried about the disabled. I'm worried about those who are severely injured and the elderly in particular. So when looking at the benefit, does it outweigh the risk? It worries me. And so whilst I understand that suicide is a personal choice, I think that if the government is involved and encourage, you're encouraging it in society, and
that's a problem.
And we have an epidemic of youth suicide, and I don't think it's right that we would implement that. And people are going to commit suicide regardless. It's always going to happen. But if we have it as an integral part of our society, I think that's very dangerous if we allow that.
It's true, because it's almost like saying it's okay.
Yes.
And by doing that, again, I'm not completely sure where I stand on the issue. I think I lean more no than yes to it.
Yes.
But I do know, and my father is one of them, and many people have said this in the past, that they know someone offered so much, and that if that person said to them, like, I want to die now.
Yeah.
And that I understand, but I feel like those should be really very rare exceptions to the case.
It's absolutely terminally ill.
Yes. And again, I struggle to say that out loud, because even sharing the vigil on my page, I was unsure if I wanted to do that, but I was like, I don't know where I stand on it. But also, I'll just share it. It doesn't mean I'm for it. It just means I'm telling people, hey, come along to something, even though I wasn't able to be there.
Yes.
So.
And the thing that worries me as well is that we give, rather than assisting people who have mental illness, we give them an opportunity which we should really be helping them get out of.
Mm-hmm. So
I think it was in Denmark. There was a young girl recently that it's speculated that she took her life or that she was assisted.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a situation at the moment, and I think she was really young. I think she might have been 17. Yeah.
There was a woman in America who moved to, I think, Michigan, because her name was Brittany Maynard.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was advocating for assisted suicide, saying that she was terminally ill. She was like 30. She was just about to have babies. She was our age. She was just about to start having babies. She just married her husband, and then finds out that she's going to die. And then, and it's quite sad videos. If you see her, she's quite swollen. She's still pretty, but and she ended up doing it. She ended up getting a doctor to euthanize her.
Wow.
Because she didn't want to deal with the pain of dealing with how bad the disease was. And I was torn with that one story. The issue that I have is not with that story, but the issue I have is, Margaret, you're right. The doctors do say, the doctor is meant to protect and conserve life. That's very true.
Yeah.
It's a Hippocratic oath. But what I struggle with is like the abortion argument, right? So the abortion argument, they always say, well, what if it was an 11-year-old girl who was raped? Would you make her have that baby? And then they use that worst example to okay abortion across the board. So then that same thing will occur with euthanasia, right? They're saying, or assisted dying. It's like,
and does the benefit outweigh the risk?
Exactly. So it's like, well, what about that one case of that one person where they really suffered? Okay, so then that means that anyone who feels like killing themselves should be able to.
Also, yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think also
that's my issue.
The argument with terminating a life in abortion, regardless of the circumstances, we are taking away the life away from someone who is voiceless. The fetus doesn't have a say.
No, it doesn't, and they have no personhood, according to the left and according to the pro-aborts.
Yes,
because there's a difference between pro-choice and pro-abort. Actually, Daisy Cousins taught me that there's pro-choice, pro-life, and pro-aborts. And pro-aborts just don't even care. It can be to the 9th month, and you're just like, eh. Whereas pro-choices,
that movement is growing. A lot of people think that it's not true.
No, it's absolutely true. Even posts are true.
Yes.
Sickening.
Yeah, just look at the legislation in New York.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and in Victoria, you need 2 doctors to okay it, even at the 9th month. If the woman decides that she's too stressed, you can just kill it. But you need 2 doctors to okay it. So I don't know how often that would occur, but the point is that seems feasible.
Well, our society is changing.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's legal is a huge risk.
It is. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen possibly with euthanasia. It'll become as easy. And the thing is too, I don't know what your opinions are. I've never talked about this with you, so I'm just going to raise it now.
Okay. Ooh.
Live
on air.
Live on air. Is there, in your opinion, an agenda to rid the world of certain people? And if so, do you think abortion and euthanasia is part of that agenda? Some people would say it's a white genocide. I just think it's people across the board. There's too many of us. There's 7 billion people on the planet. That's a lot of people. What do you think? Like, just elaborate from that, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just have to look at the history of Planned Parenthood.
Oh, Margaret Sanger.
And what that was doing. I mean, that was essentially brought in to stop African American people having children and, you know, and their community growing. So I definitely do think there is one thing that a lot of the time they don't actually talk about, but most pregnancies with Down syndrome fetuses are aborted.
Oh, I know. We were talking about this the other day.
I know. And it's really sad. It is. And what does that say about society that we don't value?
And who are we to say that their quality of life might not be any good? Exactly. That person with Down syndrome probably leads a much better life than me right now. Like, they might be a much happier place than I am. Like, who knows?
Exactly.
They might be married.
Exactly. And, you know, we have, you know.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. There might be the argument, well, who looks after these people? Well,
they're not morons. They look after themselves. Okay.
Yes. And that's the thing. And also for them to have carers, we pay taxes for the most inflated taxes for the most stupid things to give people bonuses.
This is a libertarian thing.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about taxes. So
bonuses so they can buy LCD flat screen TVs and things like that. But we can't support people who have Down syndrome to have a good quality of life. And another thing as well is that why I have seen the argument, and it's horrible that they don't contribute intellectually to society or whatever. Who are we to say that their reality is any better than ours or any truer than ours? I know that's a bit of an existential question, but it's different, but it's not necessarily any worse or any better than us. So, yeah, I definitely think there is an element of that. And we might get to the stage where people might abort based on gender. They might abort.
That's already happening in China.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
because
they can have more than one again, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are at that stage now. And and
it probably happens in the Middle East. I'm speculating. I would think it does.
Absolutely. Yes. So what does that say about society as well? I mean, we're not feminists, but they're terminating the female.
Yeah, and that's infuriating. Yeah. So those feminists watching, note that we are infuriated by people wanting to abort baby girls.
Yeah, well, I'm an egalitarian. This third wave feminism, fourth wave feminism, salute.
Yeah, I say I'm anti-feminist just to annoy people. And by the way,
you're trolling.
Yeah, well, I actually do identify as an egalitarian, but I say anti-feminist because I like to piss people off. And
Yes.
in the little video that we made together for our event, you stated something like, "We hate feminists."
Yeah.
And this woman quoted it and put it up on the restaurant page saying, quote, "The blonde girl said this. That's just hateful." But none of the things they're writing are hateful. Just what we stated in the in the
yes.
1 minute clip.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The hypocrisy is not lost on them. Is lost on them.
Yeah.
It's lost on them.
It is. It is.
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
if she's triggered, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, that's cool.
Margaret wrote, "A Danish euthanasia group have so far assisted 10 suicides, people with life-destructive depression and loneliness in the world longing for death." So that to me is that's not the right. That 10 assisted suicides based purely on being depressed, nah.
Yes.
Nah, that's just that's
and that is happening.
Stupid.
It's happening in Europe.
Infuriating.
Yeah, and it's scary. And that's what I was saying about we're not giving people a support. We're saying
we're giving them
an option.
Rather than trying to then coach them out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Dean has not answered that question.
Is he watching?
Yeah.
You're still there, Dean. Oh, the libertarian chef.
Yeah, freedom chef. Woo! He's been dealing with a lot of hate. We're very sorry about that, Dean, by the way.
Oh.
We'll
make it up to you.
Okay, let's talk about another subject. Let's have a think. How did you deal with the tabloid hate when you were getting it? Because was that new to you at the time that it was happening, or were you because you are also a glamour model?
Well,
Or softcore porn. No.
Porn star.
She's a porn star. Go to Pornhub, Tammy Candy.
Probably
Hashtag XXX.
Oh God, don't tell me. Oh my gosh. I think I understand. I mean, you don't usually get that kind of hate if you're just doing modeling or whatever, but you will if you're connected to a political party. So at that time, they were connecting me to the Liberal Party because I was actively involved.
So if you are a staffer, what does that mean? Just that you're part of
it's just a general term that they usually use in the US and Australia for people who are political staff, and so they use that term.
And so how did they discover you? Did they just?
I guess I was a little bit of a identity, a little bit like yourself. Like I had connections. I did have connections. Actually, it was a journalist in the gallery who knew who I was.
Oh, okay.
And because from my time in my undergraduate studies and my placement there, so she did remember me, and I think there was actually a article that came out in the US connecting me to Rand Paul.
In the US?
Yeah.
She's got US.
It was the Daily Beast.
Hello.
And they put something out, and then it got picked up here, and but picked up a little bit later actually, and then they just went with it. So
wow.
But yeah,
you do stand out with due respect. Like so I feel like maybe they were like, who's that girl? and so they must you from a distance as well.
She's different.
She's different. She's got blonde hair and quite a buxom bust.
Oh, I remember one of the journalists described me walking out of the office in my towering heels, and she said I teetered along. Ooh. And I thought, I don't do that.
You do teeter.
Do I teeter?
Oh my gosh. Every time I've spent time with you, when I first met you, you were wearing these heels that were like that high.
And walking like
yeah. You don't use your heel when you walk. Like when a normal person walks, they go like that. You walk like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you walk in. That's teetering, in my opinion.
Oh, so I teeter.
Yes. You're a teeterer. Not to say that I think I have a weird walk and I have like really bad posture. And
because I was like, oh my God, that witch. I did not teeter.
That's funny, man.
So funny.
Tillan DaCosta says Rand's father, Ron, is a legend.
Ron Paul is the daddy of liberty. He is.
Did you ever meet him?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yes, I did.
Well,
Actually, yeah.
Tilly's gonna be jealous.
I have a photo with him. I don't know if I put that anywhere, but I have one.
You should. You should put it
Yeah,
up on one of your Facebook ads.
I should actually, yes.
Yeah. So guys, also very soon Tammy will be launching her own YouTube channel. She already has a Facebook page. I didn't add that to the description box below. I probably should have. But the YouTube channel doesn't have any content on it, but she will be launching it in the next week or two.
I'm shy. Just bear with me.
Yes. And she's taking her time. Oh, Tillin says, lucky you. He's jealous
Oh,
that you made him.
oh, oh, thank you. He was lovely. He was great. Yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
He's a Republican.
Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah,
yes,
not an independent.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Well, there you go. That's cool.
He was actually a libertarian, then he became a Republican. Yeah.
And so you've lived all over the place. So where in Australia have you lived? Have you also lived in the States?
I spent some time in the States. I wouldn't say I lived in the States. I lived in North Queensland in the Whitsundays. I lived in Sydney for quite some time, Canberra. Yeah, I've been around the country. Grew up in the country, so yeah.
Well, you'll have to visit me in Melbourne sometime.
I definitely want to come to Melbourne. Actually, I haven't been to Melbourne since I was a kid. We're gonna change that. Yes. Oh my gosh! What are you going to show me in Melbourne?
Oh, everything. I'm going to show you where all the lefties hang out. It's the best place ever.
Okay. Ooh.
You should come down when there's a lefty event. That'd be fun. Or when there's a non-lefty event and we're just trying to do our own thing, and then you'd see just how socialist Republic Victoria is.
Is it really?
It is. You could report on it, you know.
Okay, we should
be an on-location
that.
Reporter for, I don't know, The Unshackled or something.
I'll wear a Donald Trump hat and a Ron Paul t-shirt.
That'd totes trigger them. Ron Paul t-shirt. I'll wear a Trump t-shirt.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a bit more Ron Paul, but yeah. Love you, Daddy Trump.
And the time with Will Joseph.
Yes! Oh, my best friend. Yes. Apart from you.
It's good to have another female in the game.
Yes.
I love you, Daisy. But, you know.
I'm better.
I'm
kidding. Sorry. No, love you.
I just mean that we've sort of adopted each other. Yes. Like, you know, there's a sisterhood here. And again, we're not feminists. And there's a sisterhood here.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, I love hanging out with girls. I don't think being a feminist equates being anti-women.
Let's talk about how we became friends.
How did we?
At the Friedman conference, nobody was talking to her. Nobody was really paying much attention to me.
Yes. I was gonna say I have a memory of a goldfish. I
can't remember.
Cerebral.
So I think by virtue of simply how you look, I think people assume that you're maybe like a man hunter or something, which you're not.
Yeah. I talk to the boys.
You do talk to them, but you're friendly.
I'm friendly.
Yeah, and I'm super friendly too. And I was mainly talking to the boys too, but where I'm not flirty, I don't think. Obviously,
I'm not flirty, am I?
I think maybe you're perceived that way, but maybe you're not.
Yeah.
I think it's
it's
what it is the at the end of every.
Do I do that?
Yeah, at the end of every single thing that you say, you always end in
How are you doing right now?
Yeah. Hey guys, I don't have blonde hair, but I probably should have. So even though I don't think you're flirty, you might come across that way because of the intonation.
Oh.
And obviously I had come there because I wanted to network, and I'd been dealing with a little bit of a negative tabloid fodder. And so I was a little bit like afraid, like no one's talking to me. I mean, people were talking to me, but I also noticed the people who were staring at me in an ugly way, in a negative, in a hateful way.
Well, I'm blind. Without my glasses,
but
I don't know.
I gravitated to one another because we were like, hi. You were like, hi. And I was like, yay.
Yes. And then I threw a drink on you.
I was so angry about that, by the way. Yeah, that was weird.
I'm really socially awkward.
Same.
Like I'll always do really weird things
that
freak or piss people off.
I'm socially retarded.
Yes. So I accidentally. She wasn't looking, and somehow I don't even know how I did it.
She was holding a drink.
So my other hand knocked my drink. Like I randomly swung my hand up while I was talking to that guy, and it Went
Yeah, it
like
was
that,
weird too because
over my shoulder onto you.
I swear it felt like she did it on purpose. Like,
Hey, you were
like,
really
we were-
shocked.
yeah,
you
because
definitely thought I did it on
I
purpose.
did.
I was like,
I still to this
I'm
day think you did.
sorry.
Because
I was like literally
we were
trying to
getting
wash your
along
dress.
so well. It was like the best thing ever. And then all of a sudden, it was literally all over my lap on my dress. It was like she did this. And I'm like,
and it was like in slow motion.
yeah, it wasn't so much. I'm like, what did you do? I was angry. I was like, what did you do? And you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And you were like,
I was like, you
this
so did
mean
that on
girl,
purpose.
Regina George.
Regina George. Watch out for Regina George. Poor Gretchen Wieners.
You're Gretchen, I'm Regina.
I'm Gretchen. You're Regina.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was weird, but aside from that, yeah.
Yes, when you realize I was spilling drinks on everyone.
You weren't. It was just me. Thankfully, it dried very quickly.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's funny as. What's Tammy's opinion on Gary Johnson? I liked him till he said he didn't know what Aleppo was.
Gary Johnson, look, I don't think he did much to advance the libertarian movement. I don't think he had the star quality. And I think that's quite a popular opinion amongst the libertarian movement in the US. At the time, there was John McAfee, Austin Peterson, and Gary Johnson, and I was a huge Austin Peterson supporter. I think in terms of their economic and platforms, etc., I think they were all quite similar, except the one that really stood out for me was Austin Peterson because he was pro-life.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yes. So, actually, Austin has his own radio show, KWS Morning Show. So if you look that up,
let's get on
Austin
that.
Peterson. Yeah, I watch it every day.
I'm saying we should get on that.
Oh yeah, we should. We should just call in. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And
yeah,
then
we should.
Nice.
He's wonderful. He's so great. Yeah.
Cool.
So yes, that's my
we'll
friend
be like, hey
Austin.
guys,
I should say hi.
Come on
Austin.
our channel.
Yeah, exactly. So so he's cool. So I definitely
go.
prefer him to Gary Johnson.
Oh, there you go. I wonder if there's any more questions. Let's have a look. 'Cause I think I covered everything I wanted to ask you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, for a less than 1 hour stream.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, dear, I sure am glad you're in a good mood. I subscribe to your friend, and I'm happy to see her channel grow. You truly are a great person. I will support you too.
Aww,
so that's my friend Gabriel.
Gabriel,
he's the samurai. He's also a
samurai.
Ooh. He's American, but he's
I love Americans.
Yeah. he woke up every time we're doing our live. He's just waking up.
Oh, that's awesome. Time difference. Yes, it's in the evening here.
It is.
Yes.
Speaking of, this is from Kenji. Yeah. Speaking of Down syndrome, in the US, there's a restaurant owned by a guy with Down syndrome, Tim's Place. He's known to greet and meet every single visitor that comes in. It's nice.
That's lovely. That's great. Yeah, there's some cafes that in Sydney that employ people who have Down syndrome. They're great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, there's lots of different places that do things like that. I think it's excellent.
Yeah. Well,
I was to have his own business.
Yeah, well, I was watching a documentary. A New Zealand boy who is, I don't know, the mother chose not to abort him. I suppose that it wasn't even mentioned. I suppose it was a time when maybe that wasn't really a thing you could detect in the womb. Unfortunately, now you can detect it in the womb. 50% chance they will or won't be, and they still abort them. I wouldn't, but either way, he drives. He works at the family farm. He can drive a tractor. He plays sport. I
can't drive a tractor.
No, neither can I. Like he's very well accomplished, and he happens to have Down syndrome. He's a happy fellow.
The happiness in people who have Down syndrome is so much greater than ours as well. They're always happy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. I like it. Tillen wants to know, what was your opinion on Rand Paul endorsing Mitt Romney? Ron would have never done that, and I'm curious to know why you think Rand did that. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, we're American politics right now. This is my thing.
Maybe you should marry Tillen.
Hey. No.
She's taken.
What was I going to say?
A lot of people call him a sellout, apparently.
Well, they're actually calling Rand Paul the Trump whisperer at the moment because he's been able to get a lot of traction with Donald Trump, and they were not friends in the primaries. No way. I think that Rand Paul is incredibly strategic, and I think he's very good at playing the game, and I think that he does this within the Republican Party, and I think that it does get a few libertarians their noses out of joint, and that's why a lot of them prefer Ron Paul. I mean, I love Ron Paul. He's the number one for me too. But I do think that he's very strategic, and I don't think that it's always a bad thing. That's why I was a member of the Liberal Party for so long, because I felt that I could get more traction as a libertarian from within the party that's in power. So if Rand Paul was to be more purist, I guess he could be within the libertarian movement, but he might only get the 5 to 7%. So I understand the strategy from that point, but I don't think he's there to be a purist.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask you, what is your opinion of the Liberal Party at the current state that it's in? I think that there's so many lovely, genuine, authentic Christians in the Liberal Party in Australia. But I recently just discovered that even though they are supposed to be our version of conservatives, they're the party that actually legalized abortion in the first place. So what the hell are they? And treated myself and my friend Margot who's in the chat, Margaret.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, just before we finish that discussion, I just want to get to the question here. Would Tammy recommend joining the LNP?
The Liberal National Party? Or does he
suppose.
mean LDP, maybe?
She wrote LNP.
LNP.
Margaret wrote LNP.
LNP, so Liberal National Party. I am
know.
no longer a member of the Liberal National Party.
I'm still technically a member of the ALA. I got to get on that.
Yeah, get on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing against it, but I didn't feel that my ideological values were exactly in line with that. I felt closer to the LDP, Liberal Democrats, so that's why I chose to.
She meant the Liberal National Party.
Liberal National Party. So yeah, so that's a Liberal National Coalition. Yeah. So LNP, that particular phrase is specific to Queensland. I think she
means Liberal Party.
Just Liberal Party. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So It depends on your values. If you're more conservative, not even conservative, because these days there's
a lot of lefties. Small L. And you just taught me that term.
And they really, really have control of the party in a lot of states. So I would say, if you are a libertarian, I don't think it's really your home. If you want to make change from within, by all means you can do that.
I think that's why there are authentic Christians in the Liberal Party, because they want to bring it back to what it was. But I don't think they should all join the Christian Conservative Party or something and try to make that dominate or something.
Exactly.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Absolutely.
It's admirable, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah. So if that answers the question, I hope it does.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested in minor parties. I'm like you.
Yeah, I think if we could get a minor party as big as Labor or Liberal or even the Greens, and give them more sway, that would be amazing. We need to get them in the Senate.
Yeah, well, we have One Nation, but they're not necessarily conservative.
They're not. They're wishy-washy.
Yeah, they're more interested in migration issues.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm into that. But then recently, when I interviewed Fraser Anning, he stated something that I wasn't aware of, and that is that Pauline Hanson is not pro-life.
No. And they're also a euthanasia party as well. They have it in their party platforms. Have a look. Oh,
see? Yeah. So, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, so she's...
Putting your legs all over me.
We're sitting down on the ground.
Oh, my gosh.
But,
yeah.
So, Margot's saying that we should unite the smaller parties or the minor parties.
Yeah.
And Benjamin is saying that the Christian Party will never get the numbers. They have a better chance working within the Liberal Party. Who knows? It's possible, but I feel like
times are changing. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm just talking from what I've seen, what I know, and what I've experienced. In terms of stats and all that kind of stuff, I don't know how many Christians exist in each of the parties of which we are speaking. But it would be nice to have a smaller party become a major party or a big contender.
When the minor parties start hitting the 20%, that's when things start getting interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And how preferences go that way as well. So hopefully, I honestly, I like the idea of major parties having an influence. The only thing I don't like about major parties is when they hold the balance of power.
Oh, yeah. I agree. That's why our system is interesting in that you don't elect a person, you elect a party, and then that party lends to a bigger party. It's an unusual system. And then within the party, they elect the main representative. It's quite difficult to explain to a non-Australian. Most Australians don't even know, actually.
No, most Australians are disengaged.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
That's why we're studying politics.
Yes, that's right.
We need women in politics. Not that I want to be in politics.
You want to be the quota?
Yeah, I just don't want to be a woman in politics as a politician. That's not what I want to do. I'd rather be a dictator.
How condescending, though. Imagine if you'd gone through the ranks as whatever, a young Liberal, young Labor, and then you got elected based on a quota.
Yeah. This is an issue that I had because I was chosen to be a running mate for a particular party, for a particular individual.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. I was chosen to be his running mate. I was asked to be his running mate. I was the first person they asked, and I was like, "Oh, why do you want me to be the running mate? Is it because of my politics? Is it because I'm a Christian? Is it because you find my videos to be quite articulate?" He goes, "No. It's because you're brown, you're a woman, and you're Christian. You check all of the identity, political identity, can't speak, boxes." And I was like, "Oh."
And they like that. Oh, okay.
Well, I just found that insulting. And then I asked a couple of people for their advice, and they said, "Don't run."
No,
and so I
mean, where are they?
Well,
what are they doing now?
Exactly right. Tillen is Dia, what's your opinion on Australia becoming a republic? I don't want it to become a republic. I don't want Australia to become a republic. We already govern ourselves. It's a farce. Would you consider yourself a monarchist, or do you want Australia to be fully independent? We are independent. I don't think there's anything wrong with being aligned to the monarchy. I'm not necessarily a monarchist. I'm not going to lie. I do love princesses outside of the political world. When Princess Mary became Princess Mary, I was so into that story. I researched her, and I'm like, oh my god,
so cute.
Mary Donaldson studied this, and then she met her prince here.
Isn't it romantic?
I love it. Yeah,
their story is gorgeous.
This is where we become little girls. I'm not a monarchist, but I'm not anti-monarchy either. But what do you think? What do you think? Should Australia become a republic? I don't think it should.
I don't think it benefits us in any way at the moment to do that. It'd be an incredibly expensive venture as well. I do think I don't necessarily like the idea of a monarchy. I think
I know you're not a monarchist.
With my views a bit. Just because it lends itself towards tyranny, and
But the government can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they've got much sway with us at the moment. Anyway, I think it's really
it's a figurehead, and losing them from a Christian perspective means losing our more heritage that we have. And so, if Australia becomes a full-on republic, and if someone decides to do a plebiscite for that, I feel like we would lose. They would probably get rid of the preamble. They'd probably get rid of all of that stuff that makes Australia old-fashioned and traditional, and that's part of the reason I don't want Australia to be a republic. I don't see the need.
I don't think we're old-fashioned and traditional anymore.
But we do wear those curly wigs, and they do read the Lord's Prayer.
Yes, you do have the QC. I mean.
Yeah. Tammy is apparently Russian Orthodox. What's her racial background? What a stupid question. If she's a Russian Orthodox, maybe she's a Russian.
No. I understand. Actually, I know some Russian Orthodox who've converted, actually, and they're not Russian. I always find that really cool when I hear that. Russian Ukrainian. Yeah.
And tell them about your great-grandfather.
Yes.
That's such a cool story. She's not a monarchist, but this is cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My great-grandfather was the head of the Tsar's cavalry.
The
So-
Tsars
The
of King Nicholas? Tsar Nicholas?
Yes, Tsar Nicholas. Yeah.
Nice.
So
the Romanov
he
dynasty.
escaped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably where my libertarian interest came from, I think. Yes, because of white Russian background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's named Bieber anti-bullying. How
Oh.
about something that is similar to a monarchy, but where the monarch is elected? That's government.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is.
That's basically like, I don't know. That's confusing.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbi Foreskin wants to know, how much do you love Israel? She loves Jews. You do.
And Israelis. Yes.
You just lost, I think you just lost like 10 of the followers. They now hate you.
I mean, whatever. I like everybody. I don't mind any sort of ethnicity or whatever.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's fair
fine.
enough. I want Australia to have a stronger constitution and a Bill of Rights like the Americans do. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Victoria has its own Bill of Rights, but otherwise, yes, like the country itself should have a Bill of Rights, and it doesn't. And if we had one, maybe we would be able to protect our religious freedoms a lot more and our freedom of expression a lot more.
Although they're losing it in the States. I just came back from a religious freedom conference and we had a really
I know, I was supposed to go.
judge. Yes, I know. And it was a really interesting judge speaking and from the States. And he actually explained how even though they have the Bill of Rights, etc., it doesn't necessarily mean that they have freedom of speech. It's being stifled continuously. And we're seeing that here now as well. We have an implied right to freedom of speech, but really when you think about it, if you're trolling, if you say anything, you could lose your job, you could be jailed.
Yeah, or if you do something outside of work hours and you affiliate with the wrong person and you make a mistake, you can lose your job.
Yes, there'll be vigilantes as well.
Yes.
And it's all this virtue signaling by...
Because they never make mistakes.
Well, absolutely. That's right. And they persecute people who have a different point of view. That's or even if you don't, you're associated, you were with someone who did the wrong thing and then you were persecuted.
Yeah, I enabled it, I suppose, but like, yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's the scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are our freedoms of speech? It's changed.
Exactly. It's implied. That's so stupid. But I had someone named Tim Dwyer on my channel some weeks ago, and he was saying that the constitution that we currently have is a diluted version of an original document, which is the annotated Australian Constitution, which actually says that we're being governed on a completely different document, and that's actually illegal. And so, do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Yeah. It sounds.
Oh, are you talking? Oh, yes. I think is that where we should be actually maritime law? Is
something
that the theory?
I think so. Yeah.
That we're actually a ship.
No, it's not. No, it's not that. Oh, I don't think it's that. It's more. I thought you knew what I was talking about. I wasn't sure what the face was that you were pulling.
So what faces I'm pulling?
No,
I'll have to watch it later. Okay. So
but basically the current Australian Constitution is like a little book, but in real time, like it's meant to be as thick as or thicker than a Bible, and in that it explains that the people, we are the people, actually have rule. We are the ones that should be ruling in that politicians are here for us or to represent us.
Servants,
but they are ruling over us. It's not, and so and that was, I forgot what he said, but I wrote it in my political science course. I wrote a paper on that as well, and I used the information Tim Dwyer gave me to yet to receive a mark on it, but if I do, I'll screenshot it to you guys so you can see
what I just give you.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Let me just read a few more of these. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
If we became a republic like America, it would be great. No, I disagree. But our politicians would never allow us to become like that. And in the meantime, they would remove what few rights we have. Well, we're losing our rights as it is anyway. Like we don't have we can't practice religious freedom. Israel Folau puts up a post, and he gets in trouble for it. He gets fired for it based on something he put on his personal Instagram page that apparently goes against his contract. That's makes no sense.
Yeah. I think that's a really interesting point, because I think corporations should have the right to set their own terms and conditions for their employees. However,
True.
We live in scary times where we have this corporate virtue signaling, whereby these companies and corporations are injecting maybe not even necessarily ideas or beliefs that they hold true to themselves, but they're doing it for reasons for their own marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're stifling public opinion of their employees because of that. So we're having this where we live in this world now where everyone has to be grey, essentially.
Oh.
No one can have their own
Orange
opinion.
man, bad. I am a zombie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because of this corporate virtue signaling. So
that's a solid point you raised.
It's a scary thing.
Benjamin Molesworth. The problem with it is that they would scrap the current constitution and make one against us. The thing is that's already, as I just explained, we already had a constitution, a very detailed one, and it's already been diluted. So yes, you're right. It would happen again if it became a republic. They would completely scrap it, and then our rights would completely be impeded, and we'd have no rights. We'd have no property rights.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I do not want Australia to become a republic.
I'm undecided.
Russian-Ukrainian, doesn't that mean half of you is always trying to conquer the other half? That's from Kenji.
Yeah, maybe. I wake up in the morning and I hate myself.
That's funny. SD says, oh, not such a stupid question after all, because he said the thing about, are you Russian, or does that mean that you're... considering the things he says about me in other chats, I'm surprised that he was even triggered by me saying that's a stupid question. I wasn't even being mean. I just found it to be a silly question. But okay. Sorry for triggering you, SD. Poor little baby. This is for you, patting your head. Hope you feel better. Okay. Let's have a look.
Oh, good on him.
See, the chat is behaving itself. Do you need me anymore? No. I'm Gabriel. You can go have breakfast, do what you need to do. A benevolent, godly dictator would work, supported by a team of advisors. Yeah. I mean, a benevolent dictator, but like I know what you mean. I know what she means. Yeah.
Yes, but it'd be hard to get that. That's the thing, a dictator.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they representing the rights of everyone?
Okay, so Tillen is really into asking you questions.
Okay.
Tillen wants to know, Tammy, what is your opinion on the West and Israel being so close to Saudi Arabia, which is by far the most extremist country that produces the most terrorists?
Right. So did
you study counterterrorism?
Oh, I did. Oh, I didn't study it. I did. Oh, actually, no, I did a little bit.
Well, then you have no say. Okay, let's move
on. So just repeat the question again for me.
So, Tammy, what is your opinion on the West and Israel being so close to Saudi Arabia, which is by far the most extremist country that produces the most terrorists?
Okay, really interesting. All right, so we have ISIS giving the extremists the guns and giving them the ammunition. Where do you think ISIS gets that from?
Well, some people argue Saudi Arabia. I wrote an article about this, and actually Pakistan does a lot of terrorist training as well.
Yeah, so absolutely. But
so what's the answer?
With the Saudis, I'm thinking, where would they get that from? They get it from the West.
Oh, okay. You're saying America and okay, gotcha.
So, I mean, I'm not interventionist in the Middle East. I don't think I'd rather the US spend less money on their military and putting them out there. But I think it's very scary, and I think it's strategic. And,
it's definitely strategic. It's calculated. The Victorian Constitution is about a paragraph long and states that the Victorian government can do whatever it wants. Oh, I haven't researched that enough to comment on that, but if that's true, that's not surprising. That's why it's such a communist state. Dia, tell us more about how someone tried to recruit you for the ALA. Nah, I've already made videos about it. I took them down. I'm not petty about it anymore. I think Abiy Yemeni is fighting for Christians in the Middle East. He's fighting for Christian persecution, and I'm on board with his mission. And
so you don't want to advise? his goal?
No, not at all. Arby, I think you're doing a great job. I don't know what you think about me now, but I think you're doing great, and
Yeah.
I'm not about the drama.
Yeah.
I just want to stay away from it.
His cause is good.
He is, and
Yeah.
Christians, Jews fighting for Christians, Christians fighting for Christians, libertarians who aren't religious fighting for Christians. It's good. If you're Mark Latham, you're an atheist and you're fighting for Christians. I love all of you guys. So that's if anyone's fighting for Christians, I'm on board with you. If you guys are on board with my cause. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of association. Do we have any? Well, we're supposed to. You're a libertarian, so you believe in freedom of association.
I do. I believe in all of that, actually, but I don't think that we do. If you think about it as well, Christians are persecuted all the time. I think Christians are one of the most persecuted.
It's the number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not an exaggeration.
And you just say that you're a Christian in educated conversation
it's
on
like
your university campuses. You're a Christian conservative. I started out before, I think libertarianism is a journey, which is what I mentioned to you before. I started out quite conservative. I was a Christian conservative in my young liberal days, and I gradually became more libertarian, but I know exactly how that feels, and I think that today we almost have this it's like the Christians are the new oppressed.
Oh, it's absolutely that, and that's why I'm quite shocked at certain people in other communities,
absolutely,
other interest groups, because yes, okay, once upon a time Christians were nasty to the gay people, and and they shouldn't have been. If I was able to be like for the movement, I would have been like, leave the gay people alone, don't bother them. And now it's Christians, gays, and atheists, and the Yazidi people who are being executed in the Middle East.
Yes.
But no one cares at all. No one talks about it. They're like, oh, no offense to you.
Yeah.
I'm not an interventionist. Let's leave them alone, blah, blah, blah. I've heard all this before. Even today, I've been watching a lot of Meghan Markle videos. I've just become obsessed with her all of a sudden. I didn't care about her when she married the prince. All of a sudden, I'm interested in her because I found out that she studied an international relations course, and I'm like, she's doing what I was doing. Yeah, so I love her. I think she's cool, even though she's a feminist and she's a bit lefty and she hates Trump. Doesn't mean I can't admire someone who's on the other side. It's fine. But
I think most libertarians, like Rand Paul, that would be non-interventionists, are more so because they think it's working. So it's not that we don't want Christians or
well, I just think it would be nice. That's why I love that Trump has put this initiative out to protect all of the gay people and to decriminalize it. By the same token, do something for the Christians. I mean, if you're going to say America first and you're not doing America first, and you've chosen to do something
just with those people, absolutely,
then do it for Christians too, please.
That's true, actually. And one thing these days, such as with Section 18C, with the Racial Discrimination Act, etc., Islamic people have such a voice in that public policy debate, and they've been given that. However you feel about that, that's fine. But Christians have been increasingly pulled out of public policy debate. They're told that their values aren't allowed to be part of public policy debate.
Yeah.
But we have minorities now that have a say in public policy debate.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. That's why, like, Taylor Swift making that new video clip, which is all very pro-gay, which is fine. If you feel like that's where your heart aligns and you feel sorry for gays, that's great. Good on you, Taylor Swift. Actually, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that if she had made a video praising Christians, she would not have gotten any praise, and it would have been like, she's so brave for doing what she's doing for the gays, but doing it for Christians is actually braver, and no one will make a song like that. No. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's quite shocking.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I'm a smart person.
Yeah.
A bunch of other questions, but unfortunately, we're sort of done with our time.
Oh wow.
Build the damn wall. Yes, build the damn wall. I think Catholics have also been oppressed. Yes, I'm including them in, even though, yes, I'm controversial and I don't believe Catholic and Christians the same thing. They are being oppressed in the same way. Yes, that they are in that umbrella. I wouldn't separate the two in that context.
If there's any other questions as well, feel free to go on my page.
Oh yeah, okay. So the questions that I didn't read,
answer
the questions I haven't read tonight, which are in the chat, because we're done with our time and I need to make a couple of phone calls now. Tillen, Yep, Tillen, phone call coming your way. But there is.
Well, say hi for me.
Listen, I'm literally about to call him. But yeah. Oh yeah. So all the questions I think are gone now. But Will Joseph, I had no idea this was happening.
Oh, William, I'm sorry. I'll call you after. I'll call Will Joseph after this.
Okay. But that's hilarious. Someone asked you what's your opinion on immigration, and that can be the last question. And then
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
what's your opinion on immigration?
I think we should be able to choose who comes to this country and the terms in which they come. To quote John Howard.
Yes.
And I honestly, I think that encouraging boat people is a crime against humanity. These people die at sea. I think it's atrocious that the left essentially encourage asylum seekers, and I definitely think that I'm a first generation Australian.
So am I.
There you go. Yes. And I do think that migration is absolutely, I think it's fantastic for this country. I think it's excellent for the economy as well. And we are quite, we think we're more relevant than what we are. We're a small little pea in a very big, no, that's not the term, pea in the pond.
Whatever it is, the pea and the fork under the mattress. And
what is it? The princess and the pea?
Yeah. I love princesses. Like, that would surprise people to know about me.
That's my life. I'm a deep sleeper. I wouldn't wake up either. But yeah, absolutely. So I think that we should have migration, but we definitely should be skeptical about who we invite into this country.
And with that, I think we'll end today's live stream. Next week, I have a very special guest. Won't say who it is. I'll just wait for it to happen.
Give a teaser.
Give a teaser. I just don't want anyone to ruin it or to corrupt it. So I'd just rather not say who it is. I know you know who it is, but yeah. So next Wednesday.
I'll get to see you again.
Oh, you'll see me again. I'll come back up, or you can come down to Melbourne and hang out with me.
Yeah, she's at my apartment tonight.
These are her cushions. Yes. I'm literally sleeping right in this thing that you can see right next to me. But yeah, so guys, make sure you subscribe to Tammy's channel. It will be up and running in about 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah,
right.
That, yeah.
And she promised to help me with the artwork on my channel, but she's been so lazy. Anyway. Yes. Because she was gonna. Today was supposed to be the launch of her channel and the reimagining of my own channel, but we didn't.
We'll get to it.
It's fine.
We've got time. Yeah.
It's fine. And
I'm always twerking for a Birkin.
She loves her Merkin. I saw her Merkin earlier.
Yes, we should get that on air next time.
Ew. But thank you so much for coming on my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for having me here in your space. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think it's been a really interesting chat. I think now I'm reintroducing you to the world. I think it's really people know who you are because Speaking Tool is coming soon. It's a fabulous little duo. So make sure that you subscribe to Tammy's channel and to her Facebook page and any other alternative media, social networking website will be up and running. I'm helping her with that. And yeah, so stay tuned for my next video or live stream, guys. And remember this Friday, if you can make it to our event, that would be great. Yes. We have a lot of cops that will be there, thankfully. So we'll be very safe.
Yes. Yeah, we've got security.
We have security. We kind of need it because people are chucking a hissy because
people are angry.
Yeah. People really need a hobby. Why don't you guys all get why don't you guys all get bachelors?
Yeah. Just study your PhD.
So yeah, we're going to talk about why femininity versus feminism, why femininity should still be valued.
Yes.
Not that bad a subject. I don't know why everyone's knickers are in a twist.
They just can't handle it, can they?
They can't handle it. They
can't handle our
us.
sparkle.
We're unicorns. All right.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, let me stop the broadcast.